Okay,
Hmm.
we're live.
All right. We're live on the TD Report. I'm your host, David Combs. Check out our new studio, man. We're at the Old Town Cafe in Old Town Gaithersburg, right near the railroad tracks. They built a new sports bar over here, so I figured I'd take advantage of that, give me a steak and cheese, and do some sports with y'all. We got Tony Kennedy licking his wounds from last night.
Yo,
Cowboys took it on the chin from the Eagles. We got our Midwest reporter Jody Coleman, who was just in town for the Maryland Indiana game. Um,
no, he was in Indiana.
What's that? It was
Okay,
at
Indiana.
Indiana. My bad. Yeah. So you did the Indiana game. You had our Maryland Terrapins out there. Uh, Tony, I know we want to get to the pro stuff first. Let's talk about what Jody did this weekend for us for the TD report. Jody, give us a report on this. Big win for the Terps as they come into enemy territory and have an injury out there and managed to get it done against the Indiana Hoosiers, a game Hoosier squad. This was a big win for Maryland.
hey, it was a huge win for Maryland because Indiana was game. I thought that Maryland was going to run away with it when they went up 14-3, but they actually stormed back and took the lead on Maryland. And actually, Talua Tagovailoa was hurt. And this is what I want to talk about, guys. A lot of times we tell the quarterback, and especially on the collegiate level, don't be an athlete. Go out there and read the defenses. And what happened with Talua Tagovailoa, he got hurt because he was looking down the barrel of a defender when he had an opportunity to run on that play. And I think that he was doing that because he wants to be a pro quarterback. So sometimes it's a gift and a curse when these guys go into their third and fourth reads. You know what I mean? He had went into on that particular play. He had a completion to Copeland, and that was his fourth read on that play. And he got hit because he stared down the barrel of the defender. Now, when after he got hurt, the Turks was down by I believe 3 points, and backup quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. He had a huge 35-yard run on a 3rd and 4. Then they punched it in, and the freshman Hamlet, I believe that's his name, had over 100 yards, and he had about 80 yards in the fourth quarter alone. That Maryland offensive line needs to get a little bit more credit because they were opening a lot of holes, and they almost had over 170 yards rushing as a team. And I think that's going to be their staple because after Tagovailoa went out the game, they did not complete a pass, and they were still able to win. And the game at the end, it was end up being 38-33. Indiana scored a late touchdown, but in the fourth quarter, Maryland's defense took over. They had a turnover. Maryland really, I think they're a year away, but I think Maryland's going to be something to be reckoned with in years to come. I think that they're turning it and making Maryland fans believe that this is no longer just a basketball school.
Hey man, I can really dig that. So I like Billy Edwards Jr. Basically, what it is Maryland is calling on its ACC roots. He's a Wake transfer and came in there and really saved Maryland's bacon on this. Tony, what do you think? How important it is in college or even pro to have that second quarterback ready to go? Because you never know what's going to happen out there.
Yeah, as you can see, man, with all these injuries, they're piling up in college and pro. That's why I always tell the parents, you're only one play away from your kid not being redshirted, or your kid playing, or your kid being the majority backup. Football is a sport, folks. If you're listening, never give up, because what is today may not be tomorrow because of I should say the hitting in the game. You need that backup. It so happened that you guys talk about the backup quarterback. I watched the backup quarterback a week and a half ago when I was at Maryland getting ready for Purdue. They had him running the Purdue plays. And I was like, man, this guy's pretty good. Not knowing that he transferred from Wake, that he was already in another system and he's a college quarterback. I have to get rid of the mindset of everybody who's a backup is high school, getting ready, maybe to play. But you have to look at the mindset. Some of them come from junior college, some of them come from other colleges, because this isn't our generation. Remember, when we played, you couldn't just transfer from Ohio State to Maryland or Maryland to Virginia Tech.
That's
So
right.
looking at these guys, they are more experienced. And at that position, as a quarterback, this star on my hat will tell you, Cooper Rush did what he was supposed to do for those games. Dallas isn't where they are with a backup, and Maryland isn't. Maryland doesn't win that game, which now sets them up for homecoming. If they win on homecoming, they're bowl eligible. They play Northwestern. So they should be bowl eligible at the biggest game of the year, which is your homecoming. And that, to me, is levels in the program. Last year, you made it a bowl. This year, you should be striving for one of the top 3 or 4 New Year's Day bowls that the Big Ten have. The next year, you need to be fighting Ohio State and Michigan and them
Win that
for
division.
first place
You want to win
for the
that
next
division.
2 years.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
it's levels
That's
to
a great
this.
segue, Tony. You make a great point. Having that backup ready to go. We're going to talk later about New England and how their backup did this weekend because he looked pretty good to me. Looked good on the draft show. And shout out to our own Tommy Johnson, who called the Bailey Zapp thing. But let's talk about what happened last night on the Sunday night game. Everyone, Dallas Cowboys lost the game. They lost to the Eagles. That was for first place in the NFC East. They fall 26-17. But really, Tony, that second quarter really killed them. The turnovers and going down 20 points. They spotted the Eagles 20 points. It's tough to beat any team when you spot them that much.
Well, as a Cowboy fan, I'm actually more happy with the Eagles' loss than I was with the Rams' win. And if you understand football, you
Eagles are
understand
undefeated,
that.
Tony.
Huh?
Eagles are undefeated.
Yeah, but I said I'm more happy with us losing to the Eagles than with us beating the Rams. I'm explaining to you. We beat the Rams, and the Rams are last year's champs, okay? The Eagles are supposed to be this year's champs. If you looked at that Cowboy-Eagles game, the Eagles were out there throwing Mike Tyson haymakers. They were just killing Dallas on every aspect of the game. Dallas didn't have their top tight end. Dallas didn't have their quarterback. Dallas running game. Everything was just messed up, and the Eagles were just flowing. But at the end of the game, do you know we outgained the Eagles by 50 yards? Do you know that we outpassed the Eagles and we outrushed the Eagles? What we also did was give up more turnovers than the Eagles. And when I tell you guys, when all things are equal, what position do I say changes the game?
The quarterback.
Quarterback. So whose quarterback played the best last night?
But this is what I saw from the Philadelphia and Dallas game. I think that once again, Kellen Moore got in his own way and he tried to get cute. And what I mean by him trying to get cute, and I keep saying this week after week, these offensive coordinators or these new age coaches are trying to get head coaching jobs, or they trying to show that they're smarter than what football is. Football, I tell my son this all the time, the elements for water is never going to change. So while we try to reinvent football by doing these offenses that we're seeing, nobody can score. Look at Cliff Kingsbury. He had 2 games this season where he has not scored a touchdown in. Look at Kellen Moore. If you got a Cooper Rush, keep the game simple. You got 2 running backs that are a top 5 duo in this league. You got an offensive line that's improving. The defense would have settled down after a while. Yeah, they got shell shock early, but that defense, and they did settle down. I mean, they gave up 26 points, but they really settled down towards the end of the game.
6 points after halftime.
Right.
6 points after halftime. They gave their team a chance to win that game.
They gave their team a chance to win. And, I mean, I think Philadelphia's offense is one of the top 3 offenses in the league with creativity. But the thing about it is Kellen Moore got in his own way. And I'm not blaming him for the loss, but he's gotten his own way. And you got to go with what works. I say what I say every week. If you can run the ball and stop the run, you got a good chance of winning games. And Dallas can do both of those things, but you went away from it. As you well know, they got 2 of the best. Philadelphia had 2 of the best cornerbacks in the league. So they had no weak spots in their secondary. So
and you throwing it at them, yeah,
right. And you kept throwing at Bradbury. Bradbury was showing you why he was he's turned back to an elite cornerback in this league. I don't know why the Giants got rid of him, but I guess both teams are actually benefiting from this. But Philadelphia is a very good team. But I think if Dak Prescott is in that lineup next time, I'm going to favor the Cowboys. If they play this formula and don't try to change it, I think with a Dak Prescott in that offense at home, I think the next time they play, I think Dallas gets it.
Let me put it to y'all this way. I've been a Cowboy fan a long time, so I know when it's really being a fan and really just, talking trash. I am more impressed with them last night than I was for the other 5 games combined. Why? Because typical Dallas overhyped diva team, when you turn the ball over 4 times inside your 40-yard line, you normally get blown the hell out. They had Meek Mill there. They had everything was there for them. Phillies just won. The excitement, it was off the chain if you are a Philly fan. You had everything steamrolling for you. We have a backup quarterback, and our number 1 tight end's not there. And we turn the ball over that much, we supposed to get blown the F out of that stadium. But what happened was they got back to who they were. They played tough defense. And at the end of that game, the only reason why Philly had that long drive is because those guys were on the field too much early. If they weren't on the field too much early, Philly ass would have taken an L with a backup quarterback in there. And Christmas Eve, I don't want to hear nothing because I already know I am a Philly fan. I want Philadelphia to get the number 1 seed in the NFC because that is one team I know we can go up in there. It's different going in Philly than beating them versus trying to go up in Green Bay or trying to go to San Francisco. We match up well with Philly. I don't think we match up well.
I don't think you have to worry about Green Bay, my man. After
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. Every time you try to put dirt on Green Bay, they never have 2 just totally terrible. See, y'all putting dirt on Green Bay.
Yes, I'm putting dirt on Green Bay. Yes.
Who they play this week?
I know who they played last week, Tony. That's all I can
They
talk
play the
about.
Commanders this week.
Well,
They play the Commanders.
and the Commanders are licking their chops.
Think Aaron Rodgers is going to have 3 straight bad games?
Commanders fans think they're going to go in there. They think they're going to come and take over with Green Bay. They think they're going to beat them.
Okay.
Tony, can I interject for a moment? I mean, how many times are we gonna get this past to Aaron Rodgers being his bad man? Maybe at some point in time, the clock strikes midnight on teams and players. And the Green Bay Packers, right now, I thought the defense was their strong suit, and I thought Aaron Rodgers was the strong suit. He's not looking like an MVP right now. He's looking very pedestrian, and the defense is looking very pedestrian. And you lose a team, you lose to the Jets, you get blown out by the Minnesota Vikings. And then you lose another one to the Giants. And you lose to the Giants, who Danny Dimes, once again, did it again. Danny Dimes beat you on a neutral field. At what point in time do we sit up here and say that maybe Green Bay ain't who we think they are? Maybe their coach is mediocre, and he only looked that well because he had Aaron Rodgers and he had Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is not walking through that door anytime soon.
He's gone.
So my thing is, right now, they are 2 games behind and really 2.5 games behind the Minnesota Vikings because Minnesota already beat them once. And they beat them once at home. They beat them in Green Bay. So the mystique of the
that was in Minnesota.
That was in Minnesota.
Okay. That was in Minnesota.
Okay, well, either way it go, I do apologize. Either way it go, they're 2.5 games behind. So even if they go and lose that game in Lambeau, they just even it out. And Minnesota is playing great. Guess what? The only team Minnesota lost to is the Philadelphia Eagles. Put that in perspective. Kirk Cousins, we need to put some respect on his name.
I mean, Kirk Cousins didn't do nothing yesterday. That was Dalvin Cook and
Tony,
them dudes on defense.
Tony, did they win? And Dalvin Cook only had 70 yards rushing. Did they win?
Yeah, they beat Miami.
Did they win?
Miami was on their 5th quarterback.
Who?
Yeah, Miami's going to be struggling, and they're going to try to put Tua in there next week.
Miami called me to play quarterback yesterday.
You just Tony. You just said this is the NFL. It's up next. These guys get paid to play this game. I don't want to hear that I'm on the 5th quarterback. It don't matter. A loss is a loss. And right now, Minnesota is 5-1, and only team they have lost to is a team that's undefeated in the NFL. Only team. Kirk Cousins, put some respect on Justin Jefferson. They got Adam Thielen, Irv Smith. That offensive line, that defense led by Harrison Smith. Put some respect on those guys' name. Put some. Hey,
you wasn't saying that when they got beat by 30, even Philly.
I mean, Philly. We didn't know. We didn't know who they were. We didn't know. I didn't. I mean, it was game 2. It was game 2. So of course, I'm like, we didn't know who they were. But guess what? They done bounced back. And they beat everybody else on that schedule. And guess what? One of the teams they beat was the Green Bay Packers.
Tell you what, we got them in 3 weeks. We're gonna
got
see,
them in 3 weeks.
We're gonna
That's
see
right.
What's up with that? All that Kirk Cousins and this.
Hold on, who?
He ain't never
you talking
beat
about the
us.
Cowboys? You talking about the Cowboys?
Yeah, we got them in 3 weeks.
So what? So what happens if they lose? What happens if they lose to Kirk? What's the excuse?
We're not losing to Kirk. We don't lose to Kirk. Go pull up the record against Kirk.
They don't.
Go pull up the record against Kirk Cousins. We don't lose to him.
Yeah, just like they. Hold on. Dave, Tony. Just like Kirk Cousins could never beat Aaron Rodgers. What happened this year? He could never beat Aaron Rodgers.
Well, it took him long enough.
Hey, listen. It's a what have you done for me lately, lead, Dave? And
I'm
right
100%.
now,
I'm 100% with you.
I could care less what the record was last year because what's happening now is what matters.
Mm-hmm.
So
you think that the Green Bay, you think that the Minnesota coaching staff has set it up so that Kirk Cousins can succeed and win games because he's a stat compiler. He compiles a lot of great stats.
Well,
but does he win games? Does he do things to win games? That's always been the question about him, Tony.
Dalvin Cook is running the ball.
Hold on. We not about to do this, Tony. We're not about to act like Dalvin Cook ain't been doing this his whole career. This is the difference between coaches. Once again, what's the difference in New York with the Giants? What's the difference in New York with the Jets? It's coaching. And they have a new coach. They had Zimmer. I believe that was their last coach. And he was a defensive-minded guy. He was, I hate to say it, he did not, all the talent Minnesota have, he could not put it into play. And this coach right here is doing what McVay did with the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I agree.
I got you.
So
coaching.
Let's talk on a point that Jody brought up. The potential demise of Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't look healthy. Okay. Looks like he was dinged up a little bit in the Giants game towards the end, took a big hit. But the Jets came in and just did what they wanted to do. And once again, Green Bay special teams is a problem. Gave up, what did they give up? A punt block for a touchdown. Similar to what happened to them against San Francisco. So it doesn't look like they've got that special teams thing fixed. You factor in, you've got the Jets coming in young and hungry, and the Jets played their hearts out. They played really good.
That division has become probably one of the best and most competitive divisions in AFC because the Jets are good. New England's good. We already know Buffalo's good. And who's the other one?
Miami.
New England.
We were just talking about Miami as the top team.
Okay? Yep, they'll be back.
When Tua got hurt.
Tua will be back. He'll be back next week.
Are merged. Buffalo, we already know. New England is like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It may not fill you up, but it's going to kill the hunger pain. That's what New England's like. So when it comes down to it, that division is going to challenge Buffalo, and which it may work in Buffalo's favor because Buffalo needs to be challenged each week because it looks like sometimes they get a little bored out there, beating up on people, not doing what they're supposed to do. I saw that yesterday. It's times that Buffalo they're kind of like a roller coaster. And in order to win, if you're supposed to be a top team, you're supposed to be here. But what I'm telling y'all for the first time I've seen in this league, you can say that there's two top teams in Buffalo and Philly. But if Buffalo's here and Philly's here, then the rest of the ones are right here, here, and here, because it's that close. Parity has hit the NFL. And I am telling you right now, when you got Atlanta and you got the Jets, and they are both right there. Purdy has hit the NFL big time. And this playoff is going to be sneaky good because what's going to happen, if you sit there as the number 1 seed, Philly, you could draw a Dallas, you could draw a Philly. Buffalo, you can draw a Miami, or Miami, you can draw a Buffalo. Those number 1 seeds aren't going to be safe, folks.
Before we move to, I want to make a comment about Buffalo, but can we go back just a moment about Aaron Rodgers? I got a couple things that I want to toss out here about the great Aaron Rodgers. The most points he done scored this year was 27. He had 2 games, and it took overtime for one of the games. He scored 27. The other game he scored 27 was against the Bears. But in those other games, he had 10 points against the New York Jets. He scored 10 points against the New York Jets, where Jacoby Brissett with Cleveland scored 30 on them. So let's put that in perspective. He scored 14 points against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. No, I'm sorry, on the road. He scored 7 points against the Vikings. 7 points. He scored 22 points on a neutral field against the Giants where they were favored. So when are we going to go ahead and say Aaron Rodgers is not the Aaron Rodgers of the last 2 seasons, and he's not the Aaron Rodgers, he's not that bad man anymore?
Because he doesn't have a bad receiver anymore. I think that we tie that together. Let's tie them together. Together.
Whose fault is that, though?
No matter whose fault it is, wait a minute. If you're going to say that, then let's pump our brakes on Josh Wilson. Is that his name? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Let's pump our brakes because there isn't a receiving core in this league that has a receiver number 1 and number 2 combined better than Buffalo's.
Tony, I get what you're trying to say, but Dave, it's Aaron Rodgers' fault that Devontae Adams is not a Packer.
How's it his fault?
He wanted to be a diva. Who wants to be on a team if you don't even know if your quarterback is coming back? You don't know if he's going to retire. He played this diva game for 3 seasons, and guess what? He struck out. He struck out. Devontae Adams wanted to be paid, and he wanted to be where it was solidified at the the quarterback position. And Aaron Rodgers played the diva for 3 years. He got mad. Remember, he got mad when they drafted Jordan Love. He pouted. I don't want to be here. Last year, I don't know if I want to play football. Let me take some time. Devontae Adams don't have a lot of time. Wide receivers don't get many contracts in this league. They don't get as many contracts as quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, you've been one of the highest paid players since you've been in the league. Devontae Adams wanted his bag. Devontae Adams said, you know what? I'm going to go get my bag where I got an opportunity to play with my college friend, to play with my college quarterback, and potentially have another opportunity at another contract after this one. It's Aaron Rodgers' fault. Aaron Rodgers blew that. And he gambled and he lost.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Cody.
What's going on, buddy?
Speaking of gambling, I want to jump in and get you guys the lineups before they lock. If you listened to me last week, you won yourself $19. Nice little $20 win. That's all I'm trying to get you right now, and we might luck out and make some big money, some point through the season. But for tonight, I have 2 lineups running. But my main one, I got Russell Wilson in at the MVP multiplier position. I got Mike Boone at the flex position, Brian McManus, Austin Eckler, and then Cortland Sutton. You can go to all of them in there for your salary costs. That'll bring you down to $0. You got 38 minutes left to go plug them in. Go plug these players in, get you a little bit of money tonight. Just to get you my second entry, I got Cortland Sutton in the MVP, Justin Herbert as a flex, Denver Broncos defense as a flex, Chargers defense as a flex, and Dustin Hopkins down there as a flex.
Hey, Cody.
Just in case we go for a primetime defensive-only consistency here for the week.
Hey, Cody. What was your play last night on the Philly game? Did you take the over or the under?
I did not take the over I didn't
Okay.
bet either one of those. I don't even know what it was, but I did run a lineup and I won another $20 off of it.
Okay.
It barely hit the over last night.
It barely hit the over. I thought it was going to go
nice.
under. Yeah, I thought it was going to go under. But
if you got to think about it, if they don't have 4 turnovers in their own zone, it would have hit the under. Philly would have probably won by 4 points instead of 9 points.
Yeah, I went with Devontae Smith in the multiplier, Jalen Hurts, Cowboys kicker, Miles Sanders, and Eagles kicker, and won $19.
You did pretty good on that. Yeah, I mean, when I looked at that, I looked at the games yesterday. The game for me, obviously, Kansas City Buffalo. It looks like Josh Allen's rounding into form. Looks like he's figured out Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. Obviously, we want to see him do it in the playoffs.
He is the only quarterback to beat Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead twice.
He beat him there last year, also,
but couldn't get him in the playoffs.
Okay.
So, playoff Pat Mahomes is a little bit different than what you get in the regular season. That's just how it is.
Let me tell you something. I was on Josh Allen when he was at Wyoming. Okay, Josh Allen is a good quarterback. Josh Allen will have the same thing that Aaron Rodgers will have if he doesn't have Diggs.
You know that he was putting up numbers like that without Diggs, right?
In 2019, he did not put up those kind of numbers. Pull him up. If Diggs got there in 2020, that's when he put up these numbers. Diggs and Davis is the reason why he's putting up numbers. There isn't a receiving core in the league better than that.
They drafted Davis, though, no?
Who?
What?
They drafted Davis, though, no?
Hold on. What?
Name a receiving core with it. Number one, who's better than Diggs? Well, first of all, Diggs is probably one of the
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Wait, who's
Go
throwing
look
to
at the
them?
numbers.
Who's throwing to them?
It don't matter. They still got the best
They're
numbers.
better wide
Go
receiver
look them
core.
up.
Who's throwing to them?
Me.
Anyone.
Who is throwing to those guys?
Anyone.
Skylar Thompson.
Okay.
Tua Tagovailoa. Who else you want?
My point is, he is where he is because he has the best receiving core.
But they're not the
I
best.
disagree.
Okay.
Josh Allen is mobile outside of the pocket. He's got a freaking
Okay, so you telling me you think Josh Allen be putting up these numbers without Diggs and Davis?
He's out here hurdling linebackers like they're freaking.
That was crazy.
So
That was
you
bananas,
tell me
dude.
To say
he will
this
put up
kid is
these
not an
numbers without
amazing
Diggs and
athlete and
Davis?
is only good as his wide receivers is kind of absurd, TK.
No, it's not saying he's only as good. But when you listen, we talking about Aaron Rodgers can't do. He just won 2 MVPs. You took away 1 receiver, and now you can't find Aaron Rodgers.
And Aaron Rodgers is almost 50.
There's a lot more problems than the wide receivers in.
Yeah, it is. It is.
They got a
In
good
Green
running
Bay.
game.
Cody. Aaron Rodgers been sacked 15 times this season. When have we ever seen Aaron Rodgers get sacked this much?
Yeah, he's hard to sack.
Like,
Well,
I mean,
you
that
don't have that receiver to throw to.
Okay,
what?
Tony, we're not.
He
about to
probably
do that.
also has half the time for a play to develop too. Can we pull that stat up?
Okay,
How
wait a
much
minute.
time he has
Jody,
before
you
the
just
pressure gets
put
to his face? Because I
wait a
bet you
minute.
that's probably doubled.
Jody,
Right.
you just put that they one of the best running teams and
Yeah.
the best duo. So if you got a good running game, how the hell is he getting sacked so much?
Because he's holding the ball.
Because he don't have no receiver getting open.
In 2019, Josh Allen went for 3,100 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and then 85 QBR.
Oh, wait, stop. In 2019, he went for how many yards?
3,100, 20 TDs, and 9
3,100.
interceptions.
Now go to 2020. What was his yards?
Yeah, 45, but he still
Stop
threw.
right there.
No,
That's the first
TK,
thing he got Diggs.
he threw for 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns on 9 interceptions. To say that is trash is ridiculous.
That is average in the NFL. Lamar Jackson do that now with nobody.
You just compared him to Lamar Jackson. That's
Yes.
what you just compared him to. That's
Yes.
trash.
Yes, I compared him to Lamar Jackson
and
because
that's
Lamar
trash?
Jackson.
That's trash?
So right now,
That's not good?
we all
Lamar
know
Jackson
football.
doesn't have wide
You
receivers.
tell me
Cody.
who does Lamar Jackson have on his
I bet
team?
you if you give Lamar Jackson those receivers, he'll do the same thing.
Dude, what?
I bet you if you give Lamar Jackson, Stephon Diggs, and Gabe Davis, he'll do the same thing.
Who?
Well, yeah,
Lamar Jackson is
4,500
throwing
yards
Yeah,
and like
that's what I'm
30
saying.
TDs.
receivers out there.
He
Right,
right,
but-
but without it.
But what I'm
Lamar-
saying is he's good without them. The same is how Josh Allen
Wait,
would be
wait, wait,
good
no.
without them. 3,000 yards for a 20-9 ratio is damn good for a starting quarterback.
That is average in this league.
Well, there's a lot of quarterbacks who are below average. in
you-
this league then.
Yeah, you
Right.
doggone right.
Pull
Yeah,
up last year.
That's a
How many
crazy
quarter-
bar for
No,
average.
pull up last year. Pull up that year. How many quarterbacks threw for over 3,100 yards that year? Pull them up. Pull up 2019.
Well,
How
I know
many
at least.
quarterbacks threw for more than 3,100 yards?
Now while
Well-
he's looking for that, I mean, I think Josh Allen is a decent quarterback, but I want everybody in the league and whoever listening to pump your brake. He's still not better than Mahomes. I'm tired of everybody. He's
No,
still
I
not
don't
better
think
than
he
Mahomes.
is. I don't think he is at all.
But you know, ESPN and all the talking heads are listen, man. We got to stop being in the moment and start looking at this as what it is. Okay, he lost a game. How many times has Mahomes lost? What was Mahomes' record after 7 games last year? 4-3. Didn't they win the division? Didn't they go to the AFC Championship game? Don't they still got
They
Andy
did.
Reid as head coach? Don't they still got Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Don't they got Kelsey at tight end?
Yep.
All I'm saying to people is you can see when these quarterbacks are pressing, when they don't have that dude with them, i.e. Aaron Rodgers right now. Tom Brady, the greatest ever. Now all of a sudden they talking about how he
Thank
done
you.
missed time, how he done did this, how he done did that, all this and that. You know, he wouldn't be doing that if he had that big dude out there at the X. He wouldn't be doing that if he had Grump. He wouldn't
does.
be doing that if the other tight end didn't get
Not
hurt.
Mike Evans.
But Tony, we got to at some point in time. We got to look how old these quarterbacks are. Tom Brady is 80 years old. Aaron Rodgers is damn near 40. At some point in time, Father
lose it.
Time is going to catch up with you guys. I don't
You
care how
lose it.
great you
No
are.
one said that last year. He wasn't MVP.
And Aaron Rodgers has been hit and hurt and battered a hell of a lot more than Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Okay.
Giants got after him.
So-
Giants really
so-
got after Aaron
So
Rodgers.
guys, so the only common fact in here that we're talking about is that when you take those guys, good receivers, away from them, they all start to look average.
So why Mahomes ain't looking average?
Because Mahomes got a bunch of receivers.
Ain't
He
none
got
of them-
he got probably the best tight end in history.
Hold on, but they rolled off Juju Smith-Schuster. Remember, didn't nobody even want to sign Juju Smith-Schuster in the
Did you
offseason?
watch him yesterday?
He looks good
That's
to
my
me.
point, Tony. Nobody even wanted to sign Cody. Am I right? Nobody wanted to sign Juju Smith-Schuster.
Their receiving core
He
for
went to
what they
almost
got
the
in
last
Kansas
day.
City with the tight end is better than 90% of the league. 90% of this league.
I got my hand
Yeah,
up.
Kelsey. Kelsey is. I mean, how good is that guy, man?
But
And,
Dave,
and you know what?
Danny was
What
better.
we're not talking about is the quarterback in Baltimore. He is pressing because he ain't got
He
nobody.
is.
He
He
comes
is.
to the
Mark
TV
Andrews
report.
is the
You got
second
Mark
best
Andrews.
tight end in
Cody,
football.
are you in shape?
Mark Andrews is right there.
That's one
But
dude.
that's all Mahomes guys.
No,
Mahomes has.
Oh no.
No. You
Schuster
gonna
looks
tell
good,
me the
dude.
receivers in
Come on
Kansas
now.
City ain't better than Baltimore? You
Nate,
lost your
They're
mind.
better.
hold on. Stop. We're gonna go ahead right now because who do you think the best wide receiver in Kansas City is right now?
Please,
Outside
Juju
of
is better than everybody on Baltimore's team.
Juju is probably just as good as Rashad Bateman.
He's better than Bateman.
He's better.
now
He's
Better
better.
than Bateman.
He's better.
He's better than
Duvernay.
Bateman.
have y'all seen Duvernay?
Yeah, no, because he on the damn
pretty
bench
good.
all the time and he ain't getting no time. He hurt.
Okay.
Duvernay plays like 80% of the snaps
He
Hey,
played yesterday.
Tell me what
he
he's
looked good.
doing.
Tony, he looked good
or in
yesterday.
touchdowns.
Yeah,
What?
he looked good
Or in
yesterday.
So
touchdowns.
y'all trying to tell me that the Ravens, that receiving staff is okay. They're good.
No, we're telling you that they're just as good as Kansas City's.
Kansas City's is much better.
No,
I think Kansas
what
City's
the
got a
difference
better
is they got
receiving
Patrick
core.
Mahomes throwing them the ball.
First of all, Kansas City got a better running game. Their offensive line is better, and their receivers are better.
Well, the Ravens have no
I don't think
excuse.
their receivers are better.
The receivers for Kansas City are better than the Duvernay. Man, y'all motherfuckers need to stop. Dude,
And-
they would have
and
known
who
if
are
he
you-
run the
and who are you-
kickoff back.
Who are you talking about then? Can you name me any other receiver on Kansas City outside of Juju? Because
Well,
Duvernay is probably way better than Sky Moore, who's the next guy on the list.
Hurtman
We
is
talk-
better
we-
than
look.
We talking all this.
We talking all this
Nico
jazz
Hardman
about
has been
Duvernay.
hurt.
But Duvernay got 18 catches, 240 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that's damn near better than CD Lamb, and he's the number one in Dallas. Stop it. Stop. Get out of here.
Well, CeeDee Lamb is terrible.
CeeDee Lamb been
Stop.
playing with a quarterback that's only thrown 4 touchdowns.
That's a good point, but I
Hold
still
on.
say CeeDee Lamb's.
Hold
I
on.
still don't like CeeDee Lamb.
Dave.
I just don't.
Who, Dave,
Not as a number one guy.
he has more
Better
touchdown
than Nico
receptions.
Hardman.
He got more.
Thanks,
Duvernay
Derek.
got more touchdown receptions than any wide receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Hey, look, I would laugh at the Steelers, but they beat Tom Brady yesterday.
And
So
listen,
I ain't mad at them.
The Steelers receivers, I will give it to them. That's one of the best tandem. All those guys they got are pretty goddamn good. But to tell me that the Ravens, you can see that dude is pressing. And until you get him a legit number one, he will never be in this conversation for a quarterback and this net because his tight end is being triple teamed. I
No,
don't even know how Andrews is catching passes.
His
He's being
team,
Andrew,
triple teamed.
I watched
getting
Tony. Did you watch
his
the
tight
game?
end's
Did
getting
you watch the
triple
game?
team. His tight end might be getting triple team, but he's getting multiple catches and touchdowns a game.
Because
watched
Lamar Jackson runs around and finds them on
If you
things
got-
when he's making a move.
If you got a true number one up there in Kansas City, it'd be the same situation. They'd be
I
unstoppable.
watched Mark Andrews yesterday, guys. He was making some ridiculous catches.
Dude, his
And
one
Lamar
hand
did put
fingertips.
Lamar put the ball on him in some tough spots and did throw the ball virtually into coverage to make sure that Andrews got the ball. Andrews is getting hit off the line. He's getting bow tied. He's getting neck tied on the offensive line. Comes off of that, and then he's got a linebacker waiting for him. I mean,
I
it's
got to jump, fellas. Let me
you gotta jump.
let me hit this fantasy down the line real quick for you, real quick.
Thanks for the fantasy stuff, Cody. Give him your Twitter real quick. I know it's on the screen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At Cody Bennett NFL. You guys got 25 minutes to hurry up and put this lineup in. So the two that I got running tonight is you got Russell Wilson, the MVP, Mike Boone, Brian McManus, Austin Eckler, Cortland Sutton. Again, Wilson MVP, Mike Boone, Brian McManus, Austin Eckler, Cortland Sutton. And then my backup is Cortland Sutton in the MVP, Herbert, Broncos D, Chargers D, and Hopkins.
And when the Ravens on, he'll never have Ravens receivers.
Hold on. Real quick.
Duvernay.
Real quick. Duvernay has more touchdown receptions than A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, C.D. Lamb. Stop it.
Wait a minute. You just said he has more than the guy that you said is the number one receiving part of the number one receiving corps.
Because guess what? He got how many? Guess who leads the NFL in catches? Tyreek Hill.
Who?
Tyreek Hill.
Okay, he leading the catches, but Duvernay got touchdowns. Now, do you want to talk about why he got those touchdowns? Do we want to talk about Lamar running for his fucking life, doing whatever to get him the ball? Do you want to talk about that?
Tony,
I
I need you to pick a side, Tony. I need you to pick a side.
What I am telling you is that Lamar Jackson will not be in this conversation until y'all get him some legit weapons. We can cover those dudes on the Ravens. All we got to do is triple team Edwards and hope Lamar don't run around and get us off balance where he can make the plays. That's not too damn hard. Dude, it's ridiculous. He's turned the ball over. His fault, but he's pressing too much because he doesn't have the help that he's needed. And that
The Ravens,
is because he's pressing.
the real problem with the Ravens is, Tony and Jody, is they've blown 3 big leads. Gigantic leads that shouldn't be blown in situations like that. As a head coach and a defensive coordinator, if you're staked to that type of lead, 15, 20, 23 points, these are games that you're supposed to win. Now, if it comes down to the end and Lamar Jackson has a bad fumble, throws a bad interception at the end of the game, hey man, those are the breaks. The thing is, he should never be in that, he should never be in that situation to begin with. Those games that he's lost, they should have won by 21 points.
But Dave, why are they in that situation? Because A, they haven't been able to run the ball outside of Lamar Jackson.
Correct.
B, they have not been able to rush the passer until they got Jason Pierre-Paul. So when you have a big lead and you can't get any pressure on the quarterback, any team in the NFL is going to come back on you. So
true that.
That's the things that the Ravens used to have. They used to have pass rushers, but you went and signed Justin Houston. Justin Houston is long in the tooth. And then you go get Jason Pierre-Paul to save the day. He ain't even got fingers. So
they just got David Ajoba from Michigan, who they drafted. He was the one that tore his Achilles in the pro day at Michigan. Right. So he's back at practice. So no telling when they're going to actually have him back. I don't know if he's an edge guy, but he's athletic as hell. You see what I'm saying? If you could put him at the edge and use him and just make the game simple for him, look, just go after the passer for us. Kind of try to speed their offense up a little bit, get the quarterback to get rid of it a little early, and give our cornerbacks something to look at. They can start maybe jumping some routes.
But then you get Tony. Tony said it. They having problems finding people to rush the passer and run the ball, and they still haven't even signed Lamar Jackson. So what you gonna do when you spend that money? You can't get nobody. They haven't signed Patrick Queen either.
I keep telling these guys, when you've got a dynamic rookie quarterback at the toughest position on the field, and then you don't move heaven and earth to get that Super Bowl. If you don't do that, when you have to pay that market rate for that quarterback. Like you said, Jody, it impacts everything. Now you can't go out and spend that money on an Odell Beckham Jr. that's sitting out there, wide receiver, that can take the top off of coverage. You see what I'm saying? You can't do like the Browns did and bring in an Amari Cooper, who changes everything for your passing game. So because he draws coverage and runs his routes.
Look at that formula.
Seattle.
Which team has good defenses and has already paid their quarterback? Those formulas are going to carry through. Now, the Giants' problem is not this year. They got a good defense, but they haven't paid that quarterback yet.
Well, the question is if they're going to pay. They're not going to pay Don. They're not going to pay. They're not going to pay Daniel Jones.
Yes, they will.
Yeah, they're going to have to now, dog.
I mean, we can't call him. Listen, I told y'all, and I'll eat crow because I remember before the season started, I thought the Giants was going to be the first pick in the draft, and I thought Danny Dimes would be on the bench by now. So I did too. I'm eating crow, and we got to take our hats off to Brian Daboll, and I think Dev had called it. He said he was a master with Josh Allen, and he's being a master with he's doing what makes Danny Dimes feel comfortable. And sometimes quarterbacks, all you gotta do is keep the game simple, like Dave just said. Keep the game simple. Hey, hit that receiver that's open. You
gotta keep the game. From a coaching standpoint, Jody and Tony, you brought this up earlier. A lot of these offensive coordinators are trying to look good. Okay, you know what looks good? Winning. W's. W's look great. I think it was who said it? Winning is the best deodorant. Okay? Damn, your offense is ugly. Yeah, but we sure win a lot. What can you say? You see what I'm saying? People say this about teams all the time. Man, I wish that offense scored more points. We score enough points to win, don't we? Yes. Okay. Check the trophy. I mean, it just is what it is.
If you look at yesterday, San Francisco lost to an up-and-coming Atlanta team.
They sure did.
Pittsburgh beat Tampa. Okay. We had the Jets beat Green Bay.
New England won with a backup quarterback.
Listen, dude, the NFL has gotten what they want. I'm telling y'all,
you got to watch every week. You got to watch.
Purdy is pretty goddamn cool.
But, Tony, let's go back. You said Atlanta beat the 49ers. Let's talk about that game for a moment with me. You know why they did? Is when they beat Cleveland, they ran the ball after Denzel Ward had picked off what's his name? Mariota. They ran the ball 15 straight times after that play. So what they did against the 49ers, and I think even the game, I think the game before that, they ran the football and they limit Marcus Mariota's throws to under 25. That's the formula to beating teams. You put him in a read option situation. You run the football with several different running backs to tire the defense down. In the fourth quarter, the 49ers are not built to come from behind. They're built to play from ahead.
Correct.
And they couldn't come back in that game.
Hey, Jimmy G looked.
He looked awful.
Oh,
No, I wouldn't say he looked awful. He threw for 300 yards, but he just looked ineffective. You see what I'm saying? That 300 yards did not amount to a lot of points.
But Dave, it didn't amount to a lot of points because guess what? Atlanta kept the game extremely simple. The turnover, remember they scored on the fumble in the end zone. So
Yes,
that's already 7. That's already 7 points. So guess what the 49ers had to do? As a matter of fact, me and Tony talked at halftime, and he said the 49ers haven't showed up. And the reason why they couldn't show up is because Jimmy G, I love him as a quarterback, but the way that Kyle Shanahan's system is set up is for them to get leads and let that offensive line murder you.
mhm.
Yes.
And they wasn't allowed to do that. So Atlanta right now,
Thanks for
said,
joining us,
I'm
Paul.
not gonna put the ball in the air like these other offensive coordinators and these other coaches. Why is Jacoby Brissett throwing the ball 45 times? You got Nick Chubb in the backfield.
Honestly, I don't ever think. Here's the thing, Jody. When he was at NC State, I don't think he ever threw it 45 times in a game in college. I can tell you that right now.
That cannot be a formula for success when Cleveland's strong suit. What I went off on Tony yesterday for no reason. I apologize, Tony. And we talked at halftime, and he had to walk me off the ledge because Nick Chubb is the leading rusher in the NFL, and he's playing against Belichick, who you can't outsmart. Now I don't think he's a genius without Tom Brady, but you're not going to outsmart that guy. He's going to work with what.
Here's the thing, Jody. Bill Belichick will not outsmart himself. That's the key. You see what I'm saying? You could try to trick Bill. You could try to trick Bill Belichick, and you might trick him. But here's what he's not going to do. He's not going to trick himself. He is never going to do that. And that's what would make him so successful. Is that yes, he's going to keep it simple. But if he looks at your defense and says these guys can't stop my running game, he'll run it 18 straight times. Does he care that Tom Brady didn't throw the ball a lot? No. All he cared about was winning. That's all that mattered.
Tom and Dev they really big on Zasby? Wasn't they Zasby Bailey or Bailey?
Bailey Zappi.
And I had to say this, and it was no disrespect, but everybody looks good against Cleveland because Cleveland is the dumbest team in the league. Cleveland literally. I looked at a stat on Cleveland. Now you know it's a lot of wind and it's cold in Cleveland, but did you know that that kickers in the last 7 years only missed 2 kicks? Our kickers have missed 15. And you practice there. You know that kickers that come to Cleveland have a better field goal percentage than Justin Tucker when they come to Cleveland? Do you see the fact that all of a sudden when people come to Cleveland, they catch some of the most crazy and most amazing? I'm not saying that the kid can't play quarterback, but don't rate him against Cleveland. Please don't rate him against Cleveland. Because Cleveland, they sit back, and you knew we couldn't get only, Myles Garrett had 2 sacks. Cleveland only had 2 sacks. Nobody else got pressured. So guess what you got to do, Tony? You got to blitz. They didn't blitz this kid one time. That kid looked like he was playing 7-on-7. So never ran a quarterback on playing Cleveland.
Well, with that being said, I can hear the pregame starting because I hear it here in the sports bar.
We got
Russell Wilson. You got Russell Wilson walking in here.
I don't think nobody.
Justin Herbert's on the field for the Chargers.
They're not.
So we can't let. So I'll say this as my tagline says down here. Don't let Russ cook tonight, man. It's just ugly what's going on in Denver. And how many more years they got him for? 5 more at $240 million.
But
hey, man,
what, Dave, my thing is, I'm gonna go with the Lee Corso, man. Not so fast. I think if they understand
Yes.
that Russell Wilson is not Aaron Rodgers, and they go back and they start running some stuff that look like they run the ball and do hard play action, you move the pocket, you get Russell Wilson out in space, he'll be a different quarterback. He's not a drop back. He's not your classic drop back quarterback, and
He
that's
never
why
was.
I had him as the number one worst coach in the league, because you haven't understood that yet. If you go back and look at game 1 when they played Seattle, that was his best game of the season. They moved the pocket, they got the ball to the tight end. Go look at how many catches they tight end got. They're probably among the least in the league on reception. If you always seen them Seattle teams, the tight ends, they always was least middle of the pack. The running backs had catches. Go and look how many times they run it back and they tight ends, how many catches they have. They're among the lowest in the league.
Who?
The Denver Broncos.
Tony, who do you like tonight?
Remember, I picked the Chargers to go Super Bowl.
That's
So,
right.
I got to stick with the Chargers, but for some reason, I feel like everybody's been against Denver, and I can't ever go against Russell Wilson.
So my Super Bowl pick was the Bills and the Eagles. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself today, but that could change in the next few
You know what?
weeks.
If they had an award for the first 6 weeks of the year, you would be right there, and you would
Tony clowning me now.
you would be looking really good.
I'm looking real good, buddy.
Here's the problem. You have two teams who are dependent on those two quarterbacks, and they play a style where they're outside that pocket and they're delivering hits.
Something could happen. Yeah, that's
And
right. That's right.
I'm telling you, Josh Allen is running too recklessly with that football, like he's gonna run people over. And listen,
You better
man,
stop.
this
He
I had
think
an
he's Steve.
argument
He
with
think he's Steve
Cody.
McNair. He better stop.
I had an argument with Cody. This time last year, it seemed like Derrick Henry was on the break Emmitt's record. I had an argument with Cody, and I said to him these words. I said, if he keeps running like that, he's going to end up injured. And no lie, 3 days later, he hurt his foot, and he was gone most of the year.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be bringing bad juju, but I just understand the sport and know that if you make a living running into Mahomes, it eventually, like Ray Lewis said, all that stuff has an expiration date. It all has an expiration.
Yeah, the bill comes due, Tony. That's what it is.
And that expiration date is
You've
coming
heard
because them linebackers are bringing it. And
you've heard the term.
around if
You've
you
heard the
want.
term. You writing checks your body can't cash. Well, at some point the bill comes due. That's all there is to it.
And
Hey,
so
Jody,
that
give us your parting
expiration
shot
date-
today, big guy.
Huh?
Well, the Denver Broncos.
Jody,
are
give us
playing
your
the
parting
Los
shot, and I'll let Tony sign us off.
Hey, the Denver Broncos playing Los Angeles Chargers tonight, and I think this is the battle of the two dumbest coaches in the NFL. Yeah, I said it. Two of the dumbest coaches in the NFL. So we're going with two of the dumbest coaches, Brandon Staley for the Chargers and Nathan Hackett. Neither one of those guys have a clue. So my prediction for tonight is Denver Broncos is the lowest scoring team in the NFL. They're the worst team in the red zone.
13.8 points.
But I got a feeling that Denver is. I think Nathan Hackett is going to be a little bit smarter than dumbass Brandon Staley tonight. And
Okay.
So I got Denver 24-22.
That many points?
Tony,
Yeah, watch what happened.
Okay.
Tony, who you got today? Who you got tonight?
I want to piggyback what Jody said, but damn if I'm gonna put that many points up on this shit. I think Denver is going to go play the Dallas Cowboy way. Simplify everything. Play good defense. 17-14. Denver.
Real quick, Tony, you said that it won't be that many points. The Cleveland Browns scored 28 points on the Chargers. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And JC Jackson, he's awful.
Oh,
J.C. Jackson does not look good outside of that New England scheme. And look at New England right now. New England got two good cornerbacks, Mills and the kid Jack Jones. They're two of the top cornerbacks in the NFL because they're playing in that New England scheme. So
it's safe to say
watch what happens.
that some of this stuff is based upon scheme. Hey, what we didn't do, what I want to say is to our buddy Tommy, who lost his mom yesterday. Prayers, buddy. I wanted to say, we all with him, and his family is grieving. I wanted to acknowledge the Washington Commanders real quick, because we didn't say anything about Carson Wentz. Hopefully he's fine. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. Something I wanted to say, Dave, on the last shot. We're here in D.C., Jody, so, this right here, this part is going to school you. Being here in the nation's capital, where a lot of people look up to us African-Americans here, highly educated, making good money, and doing all the stuff that, all the fluff that everybody try to rate you on as a person. But we don't have great organizations and sports teams here. We don't have good organizations here. They're run by idiots. We got places like Tennessee, who right now have just gone in and realized that their city has been revived because of that football team. So what they do, they went and doubled down and said, hey, we're the second fastest growing city in the country. We're going to get a stadium. And they're not just any stadium. Guess what they said? We're getting a dome. So what does the dome do? The dome brings the Super Bowl, the Final Four, the Women's Final Four, concerts all year. That brings jobs to everyone.
The SEC championship game.
The SEC championship game.
Oh, wow. That's going to be nice.
Do SEC championship in football and basketball.
They can't let Atlanta get it every year.
Yeah, Atlanta get that stuff every year.
And Dave, they may even get a high-ranking playoff game because of the stadium. And
what does that do to their bowl? It puts their bowl up in the championship thing now.
Yeah, puts their bowl, yeah.
So what you don't understand is, in this area, we're being robbed. And we may not like the Washington Commanders, but we're being robbed by their organization, by them being so terrible that we don't get the draft. We don't get the Super Bowl. We get nothing. There's nothing ever been played here other than a raggedy playoff game. We've never hosted anything here.
We've had the All-Star game here.
No, nothing.
And we've had the Major League Baseball All-Star game, and we have had the NBA All-Star game, but that's it.
I'm talking about NFL. We've had nothing. Okay. And guess where the Players Association is located? Right here.
It's here. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm making the point as, folks, we're going to have to do something, because either Snyder got to go, or he got to point out the people like Nino Brown, Nino Snyder, because he said it's bigger than me. And he tried to throw everybody under the bus, which I applaud, because I want to get some black ownership in here, because you can get some of these owners out. We got to do something. Jody, we have nothing here. It is terrible. We're living off the past. Our area is like the Dallas Cowboys. We had a lot of hype and a lot of Super Bowls and some Hall of Famers. But what have you done for me lately?
That's right.
You got other cities catching up. Nashville's a better city. Atlanta's a better city. Oh, I dare to say this. Charlotte is a better city. So we want to keep going. You want me to hit the East Coast? The only reason why Richmond isn't a better city, because Richmond is a little hellhole. And it ain't really like that there. It don't have no industry.
It won't be like that 20 years from now.
But it won't be like that 20 years from now.
They're gonna fix that.
We don't even compare to Philly. We don't compare to New York. Hell, I might even say Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is even getting up there on the level of where we are. We're living off of hype. We have a lot of hype. If you take the government out of here, you might as well call us Alabama. because a lot of y'all will be working at Circle K and Piggly Wiggly, and you
All right.
wouldn't be in those damn multi-mansions and chilling and talking on Facebook like you like that.
Ooh.
You are there because you've been hanging in a government job. The
He said
African
Circle
Americans
K.
here don't stick together. They full of shit, and they got government jobs. Take that government job away, y'all will be some humble ass black folks.
Hey, Tony, tell us how you really feel, buddy.
Real. I'm just gonna keep it real. That's
Appreciate that.
I had to bring that out because
Guys, we're going to be back next week. We're going to talk playoff baseball with Keyshawn McNeil. He's going to come in. He's going to set us up on the playoffs. We didn't talk about baseball playoffs tonight. We'll talk about it on Thursday. But I want to definitely pass along our condolences to Tom Johnson and his family. Sorry for your loss, brother. That's just terrible news. But we got your back, man, if you need anything. Big Tony. Mr. Tony. Appreciate you, man. Great show, guys. We're going to be back on Thursday for the TD report. And
Hey,
hit the like button for us, man. Let's get the likes up.
Hey, Dave, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Tennessee beat Alabama.
See, you're going to make Dev come out and be petty. So I didn't want to start all that today.
AJ's for the Heisman. Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker for the Heisman.
You
Absolutely.
messed up. You messed up.
Yeah, UVT messed that up. Hey, man, I'm going to talk to you guys later. Enjoy the game tonight, guys.
We'll talk.
Good night.
Hey, that's Jody Coleman from Dayton. Big C.
Jody.
The Flyers. All right, bro.